Hello and welcome to Friday's, second edition of Cracking the Cryptic, actually, because I did the crossword video earlier. Any of you interested in cryptic crossword solving might enjoy that. It included one outrageous clue, absolute outrage. Anyway, that's by the by. What are we doing in the main video today? Well, I'm having a look at a puzzle by Jay Dyer, no less. Jay, who I think has been on holiday in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken, which she revealed on our stream that we did on Wednesday in the chat. But this puzzle is called Compression. We have had it recommended to us a lot. I had a quick look on Logic Masters Germany before I turned on the webcam, and we can have a look at... Oh, that just shrunk. But look, some of the people commenting on this: Mixo, Codec, Phistomefel, Snookerfan, Pietato. These are all brilliant names from the solving as well as the setting world of Sudoku. So, and it's a very straightforward rule set today. It's a region sum lines puzzle. Yeah, that's in fact, I'm just looking at the rules and how they're expressed here. It's the old style of expression. I may change the rules, Jay. I hope you'll forgive me. I quite like the new articulation of the rules. Anyway, I think it's either got 4 or 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so it's probably not very easy. But as I say, we've had it recommended a lot, as in fact all Jay Dyer's puzzles are recommended to us a lot. So I'm looking forward to having a go at it, and I will read you the rules properly in a moment or two's time. Now, what do I have to tell you? I've told you about the crossword video over on Patreon. Where are we in the month? Well, we're about a week in. We've got our brand new Sudoku hunt themed on Hollywood sandwiches. The feedback has been great. Have a look at it. You'll enjoy it. It might bring up some memories of films. Oh, in fact, that reminds me. I don't know why it reminded me of. It's totally tangential, but this is the way my brain seems to work sometimes. One of my Facebook friends, a very erudite guy called Simon Long, who took the listener crossword record off me actually a few years ago. But he's been reading some book which was talking about board games, and one of the things that titillated him as he was reading it is apparently it is possible to win a game of Monopoly within 2 complete turns. And you may say, no, that's absolute nonsense. And it was quite an unlikely series of events. It involved both players doubling a lot, and basically the first player had some fortuitous doubles that increased the stash of their cash until they landed on, well, Park Lane. Is that Park Avenue in America? And then doubled one to Mayfair, it would be in the UK. And is it called Boardwalk Avenue or something in the States? So got the set. And then went past go sufficiently number of times using the doubles in order to get something like 6 houses on those. And then the guy who went second, or the girl, had an unfortunate series of doubles, which not only cost them the income tax, but also they landed on it and then landed on chance, and it said advance to Boardwalk or Mayfair again. So apparently it is possible to win Monopoly within 2 complete turns, and I thought that just interested me, and I thought I'd share it with you. I'm sorry if you think I'm a lunatic. Anyway, what were we talking about? What was I talking about? Patreon. I talked about Patreon. That's what got me started. Anyway, I've got some birthdays to do as well. Let me do those. Let's get back on track. Holly, you've turned 29 today, and I know this because your husband Chris wrote to us, told us that the both of you are apparently exploring Iceland at the moment, which must be lovely. It's probably better weather there than it is here, and warmer. Anyway, he described you as being the most amazing, wholesome human, which is quite a nice epithet, I think. So, Holly, I hope you have a brilliant birthday today on your holidays, and I hope you get chocolate cake. And Rani, it's your birthday today, and I know this because Avinash wrote to us. And Avinash, you're a physician in Trinidad, I believe, and you amusingly described Rani as thinking we're performing some sort of magic when she watches the videos and sees the puzzles we can solve. It's not magic. No, it's only hard work, Rani, but thank you for thinking it's magic. And I hope you have a great birthday today with, of course, plenty of chocolate cake. Now, Let's have a look at compression and see what Jay Dyer has in store. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Now, okay, the articulation of the rule. I'm going to describe the rule as I think the sort of modern version of this rule, which says that along a line, well, it says box borders, the 3x3 box borders divide each line into segments. So let's do that with a line to start off with. So if we divide a line into segments, now the digits in each of these segments have to have the same sum. That is the most straightforward way I think you could possibly articulate this line. So for this line, the green cells, whatever they sum to, will be the same as the yellow cells, will be the same as the orange cells. Let's do another line. Let's do this line here. So those two, the sum for different lines can be different, obviously. Oh, that's a terrible choice of colour. But so for this line at the bottom, the sort of pipe-shaped line, although more of a hooker-shaped line, really. That's an HOOKAH, hooker, for those of you who are raising a quizzical eyebrow. The green domino will sum to the same as the purple shape, will sum to the same as the red domino. That is the rule that we are working with today. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, my only tip for region sum lines puzzles is to try and find lines where there's a great big differential between the length of the line in one box and the length of a line in another box. So my eyes are immediately joined or drawn to this, where I can see that those 3 digits sum to the same as this single digit. Now, if these 3 digits all have to be different, don't they? So if we minimize them, they would be 1, 2, and 3. Which add up to 6. So we can say immediately that this purple square is at least equal to 6. Now, see, lines like this are dreadful. I mean that is so dreadful. I cannot tell you. 2 cells equaling 2 different cells, not even in the same column of the grid. I mean, the options are so legion. We will not look there. This line was 2, 3, 2, wasn't it? Which didn't seem very good. We might have to combine lines. That is a possibility. What was that one? That was 3, 2, 2. Yeah, these lines are very, very. They're not propitious yet. Yeah. No, it's not easy. I mean, I was going to say, look. If we took all of those cells together, they're obviously equal to the sum of all these green cells together. But you can see there, because all of the purple digits have to be different, they have a minimum sum that's sort of it's more constrained than if we look at a line on its own. So the minimum, the triangular number for 6, which is the minimum we could make these digits add up to if we filled them with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, is 21. So you know the green cells add up to at least 21 in 4 cells. But it's just not interesting because they're averaging very close to 5 still, and 5 is the average Sudoku digit. Good grief. Okay, so I don't actually know what to do here. I'm sorry, I realise I've just corpsed. It's because I am actually at a loss as to know even what to look at here. No, what I was about to say is total gibberish, so I refuse to say it. Oh no, this is just like that crossword earlier where I got stuck on this clue, which was an outrage. Yeah, there's all... I'll say this only because it's Jay Dyer, and Jay Dyer is the sort of thing that I think would appeal to Jay. Again, if I combine these lines together, I've got the same sort of principle I've got here, but it's slightly different, because those squares, if I take them all together, they'd have a minimum value of 21. and they are equal to those squares. And there are 4 of those squares, just as there were 4 of these squares. And the same is true here. Those 4 digits are the same as those. And you can see that, you know, each little green digit there, each little green digit has to be different from the... So it's exactly the same in principle as what's going on in this collection of digits, which have to be different from that collection of digits. Sorry. No, that's inaccurate what I said there. But what I mean is each of these yellow squares is a different digit. Each of these green squares is a different digit, even though these aren't in the same box as these are. These are all got to be different. These have all got to be different. So there's the same. It's more of a rectangle pattern. It's more those things that look interesting to me. But I don't see why that's interesting, because all it's doing is giving me an average value for those cells. So I think we're going to have to think harder. There'll be something more obvious than anything I can see yet. It's not this, is it? Oh. I was wondering where that goes in this box. No, I don't think it's interesting. It can't repeat on its own region sum line for obvious reasons. If this cell was, if the contents of this cell were in one of those 3 positions, obviously the other 2 digits in that segment would both have to equal 0, and that's not going to work. So this digit is in one of those squares. So if it was there, then these 2 would have the same sum as those 3. It's still horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I don't even know. That doesn't even deserve colouring. Sorry. I don't know what to do. I don't think... it's to do... I just don't see how it can be to do with these lines. It must be something to do with this pattern here, I think. Or this pattern here. That's the only thing I'm seeing, is that you can combine the lines and make them... If you don't combine the lines, those 4 digits are 1, 2, 3, 4 at a minimum. These have to add up to at least 10. They're literally... I mean, there is no restriction. And if you do combine the lines, then... If you do combine the lines, these have to add up to at least 21. The maximum those could add up to is 24. The minimum these could add up to is 6. The secret is that any complete box of a Sudoku sums to 45. Something I tell only my very favourite people. If you're still with me watching this nonsense, you definitely are one of my favourite people. You have the patience of a saint. Yeah, and the secret is that a whole box adds to 45. So if that's 6, this is 39. This is 39. No, that's okay. No, this is capped out at 30, isn't it? Because they could be 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay. So we've managed to get this to have about 8 degrees of freedom. It's a number between 21 and 30. So these are at least 15. So these... I don't know. I'm so sorry. I am not seeing this at all at the moment. It's absolutely... something to do with the... There's no reason, is there, that these have to somehow be the same, or... It's just weird. It's weird. It's weird that you always get that box shape. I don't want to use that colour. I'll use that colour instead. Four of these digits are the same. Four of those digits. I'm just wondering where the purple digits go in this column. And they overlap. Well, four of them overlap with yellow. So... Ah. So these don't add up to 21. Is that wrong? No, that's not wrong. That's not wrong. Ah, okay. Yeah, so what I said originally is that these could add up to 21. Well, I don't think they can now, because in this column I've got to put all these purple digits in. So they are in fact those digits, aren't they? So imagine that these purple digits did add up to 21. Well, then what do the yellow digits add up to? Well, the answer is less than 21, because the minimum these could be would be 1 and 2. So the absolute maximum, if these were 21 and these were a 1-2 pair, these would add up to 18. But that is not possible, because we know that the yellow digits are the sum of 6 different digits in box 2. So these are at least 21, and if these were minimumed, that's 24 if these were a 1-2 pair. So now green adds up to a bit more. It's at least, so now it's 24. It's 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 or 30, isn't it? No, it's not. I don't deserve to solve these puzzles. These people are so ridiculously clever. I don't believe this. Right. Okay, this is just lunacy. It's absolute lunacy. I don't know how you'd come up with this. Right. I haven't actually worked out how far this goes yet, but I can just do that same trick again, can't I? It's doing something in this column, I think, in the end, but I haven't quite worked out what that is. But what I can tell you is that what I just did over here in these 3 columns, I can do the same thing here, in the sense that the grey digits have to occupy some cells in column 4. Well, they go in those cells, don't they? Now, I was predicating all my logic down here on grey being a minimum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 again. Well, I can't do that anymore, because these are the grey digits in column 4, and these 4 digits individually add up to at least 21 themselves because of orange. These are 6 different digits. So if green is at least 21, and it is, the plus, let's make those minimumed, 1 and 2, that's 24. So now grey is adding up to at least 24, which means yellow is adding up to at least 24. We know these 2 squares could be a minimum of 1 and 2. That's 20. So this is 27 at least now. It's 27, 28, 29, or 30. But now this is what I was just trying to do in my head. I was trying to see, is this doing something similar in column 1? I'm not sure. These orange digits are the same as those orange digits. It's the same. It's just a bit different. It's not a rectangle this time, but it's this digit, isn't it? That's throwing this. These now add up to at least 21. So 21. Hang on. 21. Plus 3 times is 30. I mean, that's it. That's it. We've done it. That is. I mean, it. This is the sort of thing that should be just taught in schools as an example of what human beings are capable of. Just if you want to just, drop the mic and say, did you know human beings can do really, really incredible things with their brains? Let me show you something. And you show them this puzzle, Compression by Jay Dyer, and you go, there you go. Didn't think that was possible, did you? And they would go, no, and it is absolutely mind-blowing, because look what happens here. Look what happens here. So, these are the orange digits. But I know that digit has the same sum as those 3 digits. Yeah? So if I take this out of orange, and I replace it with those 3 squares, that's totally fair. Because what I'm trying to deduce is the sum of those 6 digits. Okay? And what we've just proved is the sum of these 6 digits is the same number as the sum of all these orange digits. Because those were the orange digits in column 1, but this one is the same as those 3 digits. Now, why do we care about this? Well, look, I've now got 6 cells in box 1. And if I minimum them, which is what I'm actually going to have to do, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But these are in orange as well. The minimum they could be would be 1 and 2. So the actual value, the minimum possible value of this is not 21. It's 21 plus 1 plus 2. But we worked out, which is 24, obviously. So the minimum value of this is 24, but that means the minimum values of those is 24. Plus a 1 plus a 2 means the minimum values of these now are 27. But those are the same as those. Add a 1 and a 2, which is the minimum we could add to find the total value of purple. And what do we get? 30, which is now the minimum value of my purple digits at the bottom of columns 8 and 9. And that's the maximum value of green. So green is 30. This is a 1-2 pair. All of these digits... No, be careful, Simon. Be careful. Yeah, we're going to have to be careful. I don't want to get this wrong. So what can I say? I know the value of these is 27. I have to make those a 1 and a 2. I have to make these a 1 and a 2. I have to make these... So these are 7, 8, and 9. That is all forced. And I might want to get rid of my colouring, but let me just think. Have I exploited this colouring fully? I mean, I must have done. You can't do much more. Yeah, so it's the way it builds up is beautiful. So you start off by having this 21 sum here, to which you add the minimum, and that morphs itself into this, to which you add the minimum. It's unbelievably beautiful, is what it is. Now, but okay. These digits now are not 1 and 2 by Sudoku. Does that matter? Maybe not. I'm not sure. It is the short answer. Okay, these digits, I do know what they are by Sudoku, don't I? Are we going to be reduced to doing Sudoku now? Jay, it's an outrage. Absolute outrage if you're going to make me do Sudoku in yours. Oh, it's quite difficult for that to be a 3. That would have to be a 1-2 pair. In fact, I mean, the maximum value of that's 5, isn't it? So they do have to be quite diddly digits. Oh. Those 2 digits have a maximum value of... Oh, that's huge. These 2 digits have a maximum value of 7 if I made them 2 and 5. And there's a 3-cell sum up there. So these are either 1, 2, 3 or they're 1, 2, 4. And they definitely include 1 and 2. And this can't be a 3, can it? Because that would be adding to a 2 and get to a maximum of 5, which these 3 different digits can't add up to 5. So this is a 4 or a 5. It's very hard for this to be a 1. I think I am going to get rid of the colour. The colour is distracting me now, if you don't mind. I'm going to get rid of the colour and stare hard at this and see if we can do... We can do Sudoku. This might be so foolish. These are 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, we've got this 1, 2 pairs in rows 5 and 6. So there's a 1 and a 2 in one of those squares. I don't know which one it's in. But now that means all of these... Oh, I might have broken this, I think. No, it's fine. Well, it's fine if that's a 9. Because if you look at this row now, I've got a floating 1, 2 pair. One of these is 1 or 2, and this is a 1 or a 2. I've got a 3, 4, 5 triple. So these squares are from 6, 7, 8, and 9. But this one is on a sort of a region sum line. And this digit is at least a 3. So if I make that 3, what on earth do I put in here such that this works? And the only thing that seems to work is 9, 6, 3. And I hope that that is not wrong. So now these squares at the top are 7 and 8. What does that mean? This is not... This is either... If this is 7, this is 1, 2, 4. I don't know. Okay, one of these is a big digit. Ah, yeah. So can that be 7, 8 or 9? No. Because if that's 7, 8 or a 9, this line altogether is going to add up to more than these 2 squares, isn't it? So that's got to be the 7, 8 or 9. This has got to be the 1 or the 2. And that tidies up our pencil marks a little bit. And the reward we're going to earn for this is what? Maybe nothing. So there's an awful lot of low digits here. Because remember, this is just these digits, isn't it? That's what we've sort of learnt as a result of it. I mean, it's such a fatuous thing to say, and yet Jay Dyer sort of took the fatuous things, put them in a pot, and came out with just absolutely ridiculous beauty. Oh, I see. Right, hang on. Here's something much simpler. Or is it? No. No, what I was about to say is such utter nonsense. I don't even dare say it to you. Well, actually, hang on. Where's 1 and 2 in this box? Yeah, you can't put 1 and 2 on here, because the minimum this is adding up to is 13. So if I put a 1, or even if I put a 2 on here, the other digit would be at least an 11, wouldn't it? So the 1 and the 2 go on this line. And at least one of them is here, because this, whatever this is, can't be in those two squares. Okay. I don't know. Is it... Can we somehow get some sort of coordination going? I know there's a 1 and a 2 on this line. I know there's a 1 and a 2 on that line. I don't... if I can, I don't see how to do it. 3 is in one of those squares by Sudoku. Is there a reason that... Oh, I'm struggling here. I don't know what to do. 4 and 5 have to occupy these squares in some order. And these are adding up. This adds up to at least 11. Well, I still do have to be a bit careful here, don't I? What we can't do is make these too big. Because if this was an 8-9 pair, 17, this would have to be an 8-9 pair. There's only one way of doing that. If this is adding up to 16, there's only one way of doing that. So the most this adds up to is 15. So it's 15, 14, or 13. Which means this is 15, 14, or 13. Okay, that's almost good, but not good enough. That's not a 6. We can deduce. In fact, that's not a 3 either. Yeah, maybe it's something to do with low digits. There's an awful lot of low digits floating around everywhere. Or maybe there's something more meta I need to do from what we did before. But I didn't think there was. You know, I'm wondering about when we were sort of deducing that those were the same digits as these, etc. Or maybe I have to colour 1s and 2s or something. Oh, I don't like the look of that. That looks very difficult. Not sure. Yeah, I really am not sure. These add up to 30, so these add up to 15. And they don't involve 1 or 2, and they don't involve that digit either. So there are a lot of high digits on this. That's certainly true. But I don't see... I mean, if this didn't have a 3 down here, it would be 4, 5, 6. No, I don't think that's it. I just don't think it's quite doing enough work. If that's 4, that's 2. This would be 1, 2, 3. So what about, I feel like there might be a way to rule out, you know, if this is 3, this is a 1, 2 pair. Is that somehow, this would then be 3, 4, 5, 6 at a minimum. No, I don't like that either as a thought. Sorry, I'm being totally inept here. What could we do? There is a... Can I do anything here? Can I do anything of any value? Let's see. How long have I had? I've only had 36 minutes. That's not too bad. It's meant to be quite a hard puzzle, I think. 7 and 8 have to occupy these squares in box 3. Does that matter to us? Can they both be there? That would be a 6, 9 pair. Don't know. Maybe fine. Not sure. Maybe that digit. I mean, it might as well pencil mark it. It's at least 3 by Sudoku, but it can't be greater than 6. It could still be 6 though, I think. If this was 6 and this was 1, this was 2 and this was 5, that seems to work, doesn't it? Okay, so that's no good. The minimum sum of this is a 3, 4 pair, which means the minimum sum of this is 7. But I mean, this could be this is more likely to be big, I think. Right, so where do we look then? What is it I'm meant to be deducing here? I don't know. Oh, Simon. I don't even really have a good feel as to where to look. Maybe it's to do with these digits. Maybe there's some restriction on this 15 sum. I know these add up to 15 because these add up to 30, so these add up to 30. So by the secret, these add up to 15. So the size of this domino is some number. In fact, that's at least a 3. So the maximum size of this is 12, isn't it? So the maximum size of this is 12. That's totally irrelevant, I think. If we had a 9 in here, that wouldn't work, would it? Because we know this is 15, so it would be either 915 or 924. So I do know that the 9 is at the top of the grid, and it's not here, look. So that's almost interesting. Now, if it was an 8 in here somewhere, then it would have to be 834. Because it couldn't use a 1 or a 2. But that looks doable, unfortunately. 15, 18. So by the secret, these add up to 27. So this... Can that really be a 7, 8, 9 triple? I mean, in theory, it looks like it might want to be. That's what happens if this is 3 and this is a 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. These add up to 24. And these would take it to 27, which is what we know these are. So these are always 18. Yeah, but as we go away from this side of the grid, there's a little bit more flexibility. So we have 15 here, we're at 18 here. Yeah. And we're going to be at 21 here, aren't we? And 21, we can do that without a 9 if it was 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that isn't how to do it. Right, what is it then? Is it something to do with this digit or this digit? Or is it to do with colouring? I don't think it is to do with colouring 1s and 2s, but I am just going to explore that quickly, if you don't mind, just to convince myself that's right. So this digit would be in one of those 2 places, which means it's in one of those 2 places. Oh, that's done something. Good grief! Right. Okay, because what I can now see. Oh, this is doing a lot. This is doing a lot. Good grief! Right. So the thing we needed to, if I'd had this thought earlier, this would have been relatively straightforward. But the question we need to ask is, where are 1 and 2 in box 1? And I don't know is the answer, but I do know they're in that little congregation of digits here, and therefore we should ask where the green digit is in row 1, because it's not there and it's not here. So it's in one of these 3 squares, so it's here. But doesn't that have the effect of forcing this not to add up to 3 anymore? I think it does, because if that's a 1 or a 2, this can't be a 1-2 pair. Well, it must contain this digit, because otherwise it's too big. This is now a 3 by Sudoku. That's an extra digit that we didn't have before. Now, can we get that to go any further? There's now a green digit in one of those squares. We know there's a green digit in here, don't we? So there's a green digit in one of those, and it must, well, because the green digit is a 1 or a 2, which I know is on this line. I now know where it goes on that line. Oh, Jay, you are a very, very clever person. Now, this line, I worked out had to have a 1 and a 2 on it. Where does it go? It can only go there. So that's my light green 1 or 2. That's not 1 or 2. That's not a 1 or 2 at all now, because we know that the dark green 1 or 2 is in this column. We know that those 2 squares are those 2 colours. These 2 are those 2 colours. I don't know how we're going to resolve these, probably by this line somehow. But now we've got a 1-2 pair in the bottom row, which I didn't have before. So 1 and 2 are in those squares in box 7. But, okay, now, this line, because of this 3, it can't add up to 6 anymore. So once we get this as light green, this is now a 7 line, which means these have to be, this is it, these have to be 5 and 2. So that's 5, that's 4, that's 2, that's 1. Oh, well, it resolves this deadly pattern. It doesn't tell us which is light green and which is dark green, but maybe that line will. If this is 4, this is now a 1-3 pair. Yeah, there we go. Dark green is 2. Boom, 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 boom. The explosions go off. Okay, that's got to be useful, surely. Maybe. Okay, so we can actually do the colouring of those, which I would like to do. Okay. So 1s and 2s are speckled around there. This is not a 3 anymore. Oh, we know this adds up to 7, so that's a 5. That's actually not what I was anticipating, but okay. I didn't think those digits would be the same on that line for no reason other than it just surprises me. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised. Now, so there's a 4 on this line now by Sudoku. So there's 7 on that line plus 1 more digit. And we know we're adding up to at least 13, don't we? So the other digit is at least a 6. So 3, they can't put 3 on this line because it would only add up to 10, and I can't make those add up to 10. So the 3 is down there. And we know these squares added up to, I want to say, to 15. Yeah, they're 30, so they're 15. One of them is a 3, so the other 2 add up to 12, and they aren't 3, 9, because that would put 2 3s and a 9 in there. They aren't 4, 8, because the 4's there. So this is 3, 5, 7, which means those are not 7. This line at the top is 6, 8, 9, which means there's no 8 here anymore. Well, no 8, I wanted to say, sorry. 6, 8, 9 is 23. That's a 2. So these add up to 21. I've just noticed that isn't an 8 by Sudoku on that. That's not a 9 by Sudoku on that. 6, 8, 9, 7, 8. This adds up. So if this doesn't use a 9, that is a 6. And this would be a 7, 8 pair. Where's 5 in box 3? There is the answer. So these two squares are a 3, 7 pair, which means these haven't got 7 on them. So 7 is on this line. Oh, right. Okay. But now we can do maths on the column. This is going to do things. This is going to do things. Because look at the column. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 approximately placed on the column and not on this line. So this line adds up to 15, which is the sum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 45 minus those 15. So this line adds up to 30. But it's split into 2 equal portions. So each portion of the line adds up to 15, and there's a 7 on that portion. So this is 7, 8. 7, 8. That's 6, 9. These squares are now known. They're 2, 4, 8. Which means these are 6, 9. Let's check this line. So this line adds up to 15. That adds up to 15. So that makes total sense. This line down here. I was about to say something that's probably not true. Well, actually, not for the reason I expected, but for a different reason. This is not a 3, 5 line. If this is a 3, 5 line, I was looking at this and trying to work out whether this could add up to 8, and I concluded it might be able to. But what can't add up to 8 is that line, because it can't be 1, 7, 2, 6 or 3, 5. So that line contains a 7. So it's either 7, 3 or 7, 5. So these either add up to 10 or 12. The same is true here. 10 or 12. That might be restricted somehow, but it's not. I'm not finding it desperately obvious to realise how that's restricted. There is a 1 in one of those squares, using our logic that we worked out earlier, and a little known process known as Sudoku. These are adding up to 21, aren't they? Oh, so what do they add up to? 21, 27, these add up to 18. So they're either 5, 6, 7, or they involve a 4. I mean, where's the weak spot here? Where is the weak spot? Is it row 1? 3, 4, 6, 9. I think it's... No, I don't think that's it. Is it this cell? I mean, it might be, but I don't know why. Is it... I mean... It could be questions like, could you put a really low digit on here? Like if this was 1, 8, which is the... If this had a 1 on it, it's a maximum of 9 in here, and that would have to be 3 on top of 6, or 6 on top of 3, which might work actually. Okay, so that's not how to do it either. What about... I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, nearly. Oh, no, that's it. Got it. I've got it. I've got it. All I've got to do is look at this column. Those 2 digits there. Now, unless I'm going crazy, the minimum size of that domino is 4 and 6, which is already 10. So this can't be a 3-7 pair, because then that would have to be a 0 or a negative number. So this is, well, this is a 3 then, and this is a 5-7 pair. And even, oh, I see, and that's even that's quite good, because then we can, what we have to put a 1 here, because if we don't, this digit is at least a 3, and we know those are at least 4 and 6, and that's 13, but this only adds up to 12, so we have to put the 1 here, which means we can do a little bit of tidying up with our light green digits. That is light green, that's not light green. And these digits here add up to 11. And what are they? They're not 2, 9, 3, 8 or 5, 6, so they're 4 and 7. Which means that's not 7, so 7 moves across over there into one of these 2 squares. Ah, nearly good, but not quite good enough. 4, 7. So where's 7 in row 7? The answer is in one of those 3 squares. Which is probably not enough. These 2 digits add up to, oh, these add up to 12 now. They're not 5, 7. So they're either 3, 9, which would have to be in this order, or 4, 8, which could be in either order, I think. Oh, alright, so does that matter then? So what I'm seeing there is because this domino uses 8 or 9, and that's an 8 or a 9, these 3 squares together use the big 2 digits. So the rest of this box is made up of 3s, 4s, 6s and 7s. Yeah, that's it. Look, let me show you. These have to be from 3, 4, 6 and 7. Well, what's this digit? It sees 3, 4 and 7. That is a naked single 6. There might have been another way to get that, but I got it that way. So now what do we get for that? Do we get another reward? There's no 6 in here. So this is made up of a 7 and the digit that we don't use on this domino. And that digit is an 8 or a 9, believe it or not. Okay. Oh, this is exciting now. That's not a 2, by dint of Sudoku. This has got 7 on it. Oh. So it's adding up to at least 10. So that's adding up to at least 10. So it hasn't got, so this can't have 1 on it. That could be really important. That probably is really important. Is that going to place my ones? Ah, look, I think this is right. This is at least 3, 7. And this can't be 1, 9. And that's the only way this domino could get to 10 because of this 9 here. So I think that 1 has to come out of this square and 1 has to be placed instead in exactly that square. So let's do that and just see where that goes. Because now in this box I seem to place 1 there. And that seems to place, well, it puts 3 there and 1 there. But let's make sure we do our greenification correctly. The 3 is doing some work. 3 and 7 go in. These don't include 1 anymore, but they do include 2, don't forget. So this isn't a 2. Yeah, this is it. This has to be 2, 8. That's the only way it'll work. This is brilliant. Because I now know 2 is on this strand and it adds up to at least 10. Well, the only way I can even get it to 10 is with a 2, 8 pair. So the 7 doesn't go in there. This is 2, 8. This is 3, 7. How do we do this? Take the 4 out. So this can't be 3, 9 and has to be 4, 8. This has to be 9. This has to be 8. That 8 does things. 8 and 2. That becomes a 4. That's an 8. That's a 2. Let's make sure that we continue to do our colouring where we have the opportunity to do so. Now, has that done more? Yeah, that does more things, more Sudoku related things. This is an 8 by Sudoku, so this line is 1, 2, 5. It has to be. And therefore we take 5 out of here, we get left with 3, 4, 6. And we can put, oh, that's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. So there's no 3 in here. There is definitely a 4 in one of these squares, and I know which one it's in. That's 4. There does need to be a 9 in this string, because it can't be 6, 7, 8 anymore because of this. So there is a 9 in one of those, which actually might be interesting, because now there's a 9 on that, in this little panoply of digits down here. Now, 9 is in one of those 2 squares in the bottom row. This column has not used 4 and 5 yet, so let's pencil mark those 2 squares in. And this column has not had 5, 7, 9, so the 7 must go here, the 9 must go here, and the 5 must go here, so that became a 4 after all that. We get a few more digits speckled around, that becomes 5, that becomes 9, 9 and 6 go into the grid. This is a 3, and that's a something. The technical term for a 6. So that's a 9, that's a 6, that's an 8, and that's a 9. Oh no, I thought that was going to keep going, but it was quite exciting. Okay, so I've not put 5 and 7 into this column, so 7 and 5 go in, 5 and 2 go in, 2 and 4 go in. Let's tidy up our greenifications. These 2 squares are 6 and 8, that's fine, we can do that. 8, 6, 6, 4. That digit's apparently a 7. We need 4, 5 and 9, don't we? That's the 9. So by Sudoku. So that's the 5, that's the 4. Oh, I really hope this is right. 8, 7, 7, 3. And if we haven't made an absolute mess up, 6 and 3 go in. That is one of the most brilliant puzzles I've ever seen in my life. Let's see if it's right. Yes. Wow. Wow. I'm in at just under an hour. That is one of the most phenomenal ideas I've ever seen in Sudoku. Jay Dyer, I cannot explain to people how clever you are. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.